the 15th of June, again at 10 hours Central European Summertime, I will present our NavCloud concept as a whole, particularly My Fleet, an enhanced fleet tracking tool and due diligence tool for the office, and Myra, our automated voyage planning and data delivery tool. Well, as already said during the last time, but maybe not all of you have the chance to participate in the first session. So please let me start with a little excuse that the following slides are quite rich of text again. And there is no alternative available than doing this in that way, since the SIRE 2.0 question library consists of more than 1,200 pages of text. So it is very, very comprehensive in terms of providing informations, and those informations are such as the top-level questions, the abbreviated question text, the guidance section, which then includes the objective, the best management practice, the most applicable ISM and also TMSA references, but it also contains suggested inspector actions, expected evidence, potential grounds for negative observations, and so on and so forth. So it's a huge document. I try to minimize the number of words per slides using square brackets with 3 dots in between whenever possible, but without changing the meaning of the sentence as such. In course of the webinar, I will always show firstly the VIQ number and the question, followed then by the ChartWorld's solution to comply with the SIRE 2.0 requirements. At the very end of the webinar, we will have a question and answer section. I mean, time permitting. We will check for the most frequently asked question, and I will answer those. If your question would not be answered, you may kindly drop me a mail, and I will answer, will reply then personally. At the very end of the webinar, you will find my email address. As said, today's topic is as per above. I'm happy to present and demonstrate how our CIO Plus data service will help being in compliance with the SIRE 2.0. Firstly, since I'm not sure if everybody of you are aware what the CIO Plus service is about. As already said, the long title is ChartWorld Information Overlay, and it's a data overlay showing in the Actis a user chart, which is loaded on top of the electronic navigational chart. So our CIO Plus service is designed to help the bridge team with the task of voyage planning and execution. It aims to automate the process of applying additional data in the Actis by means of a user chart object. Applying additional data in the Actis, what could those additional data could be about? Well, those could be TMP notices, it could be a manual safety control line, it could be an environmental information, or even as a risk mitigation tool, it could make visible hidden, uncharted shoals in poor CATSOC areas. That's the idea behind in general. Right, so let us start with the first question from the VIQ referencing our CIO Plus services. We are in the chapter 4 of the question library, which is the navigation and communication. And under the section 4.2, navigational procedures, we find the question 421 asking, were the master and NAV officers familiar with the company passage planning procedures, and had all voyages been appraised, planned, executed, and monitored in accordance with the company procedures, industry best practices, and both local and international rules. It refers then to the best management practice from the ICS, the Bridge Procedure Guides, the 5th edition, and the chapter 2.1, Principle of Passage Planning. We find the purpose of passage planning is to develop a comprehensive navigation plan for the safe conduct of the ship from berth to berth. The plan for the intended passage should identify a route which, and then among others, complies with all applicable environmental, protection measures. So that's the requirement taken from the library. And here we come to the ChartWorld's solution for that, which is the CIO plus environmental layer. When you're approaching special areas and then in-route planning and monitoring modes, this layer, the CIO plus environmental layer, will show those areas on the axis, on the plant route, entry and exit that have environmental restrictions and alerts. And I switch on my laser pointer like this. Here we go. And we see here part of the CIO plus environmental layer. This line here on the plant route is attributed with danger. So we see here the danger, yes. This enables then the actors to find this layer in the route check and also by executing the voyage when the look ahead sector is touching this line. With a big report on this line, you will find the according information down here. In my example, we have an exit map for Annex 2, which is noxious liquid substances. We have Annex 4 as exit, sewage, and 5 for garbage. So this solution here applies apparently to display environmental regulations on the ENC as such. But additionally, we offer also for the voyage plan document the following solution. With our business partners EMH, our automatic voyage planning tool offers a so-called environmental voyage overview. This comes with a MyRA, with our My Route Appraisal program. It displays here the events with the corresponding waypoints and tells you then for each single of those what is permitted or not permitted as per MARPOL regulations. Schedule is taken from the My Voyage Planning again, as well as the position. So this is our solution then for the requirements of the OCIMF that you need to look after environmental compliances. And as I said, we're doing this for both on the actors as such, on the ENC as a chart layer, and on the passage plan document as an environmental voyage overview. Right, coming to the next. We're staying with 4.2 section navigation procedures, and we come to the question 4.2.2. What is asking, were the master and navigation officers familiar with the company UKC policy and procedures, and were records available to demonstrate that the required calculations had been completed and the vessel had remained in compliance with the UKC policy? In this section then, it refers to the best management practice from the OCIMF, the publication named Recommendation on Uses of Actors in Preventing Incidents. In that publication, we find under the section 4.2.5, identification of safe waters. And it said there, identification of safe water can be broken down into the following, among others, a manual safety control line with alarmable features. As next, we come again to the ChartWorld's solution, a CIO plus no-go. And the CIO plus no-go shows an additional demarcation line in red, as you can see here, with again the alarmable feature. It is created dynamically, created on top of the actors ENC again as a user chart, both sides of the route, as clearly said. And worth to consider is to set that it also considers the ENC accuracy, the CATSOC. In my example here, I took apparently, we were inbound port. This is an ENC cell, the ENC usage band approach, and this is a port ENC. So we have two different ENC cells. I've chosen for the safety contour value in my actors 10 meters. And as we can see, as per definition, the safety contour line is a broad black line dividing safe from unsafe waters. Right. Now I have a no-go line. My no-go line is the line enabling the system, our algorithm, to jump from spot sounding to spot sounding from 10 meters to next 10 meters point in order to create I would even say manual safety control line. And we see that our manual safety control line is following, defaults at 10 meters, as I said, is following the safety control line perfectly here. On this side, either on this side. You can see here, there is a 10-meter area, which is then again followed by our no-go line, connecting to the next spot and going further, further, further. This fits perfectly as far as I can see. Looks great. Go next, and we see now on this ENC cell, it was perfectly matching. On this ENC cell, the port 1, it appears to be we have a discrepancy. There is something, different rather than on this side. It is easy to explain how this could happen. As well known, safety contour are available in the ENCs, not with default figures. By definition, an ENC is an ENC if it has a safety contour line of 30 meters, 30 meters. And if the ENC is fabricated on behalf of for an hydrographic office, that's a definition for an ENC. But besides the required 30-meter contour line, there could be other values, and this can be different from each to each next ENC cell. So what we see here is we have a safety contour line of 10 meters available, clearly displayed. But if we go to the next section, to the next ENC cell, and it starts here, then we see that the safety contour line of 10 meters is not available anymore, but this is a safety contour line of 20 meters. This is above 20, this is below 20 meters. And so we see this explains why we have here two different lines, the safety contour line as per ENC and the no-go line. So our idea behind that here is taken into consideration that apparently the safety control line can differ from ENC cell to ENC cell. We need to have a clear indication for the navigator what is safe and what is unsafe water. The definition of the safety control line is not applicable from my point of view if you're saying blue water is unsafe, white water is safe, if the corresponding ENC cell does not offer a safety control line which is close to your desired control line. And we may even see here on the side that we are crossing the safety control line, right? The safety control area, like this. The route is going easterly. This is not because the navigator made a poor planning or didn't consider this. This is simply because of the technical limitation on the ENC cell on this side, which, as I said, is a port ENC on this side, not having available the 10 meter safety control line, but only the 20 meter safety control. Right, this is the idea behind. Let us make the navigation safer in a way that we're putting left and right the no-go line, and I trust lots of your crews are doing this already. And you can do this manually. The question now is, this is what I'm already said at the very beginning of this slide. The question is, how do you apply CATSOC if you do this manually, if the navigator is doing this? In CATSOC area alpha 1, alpha 2, I don't mind too much about this. It is a few meters seen from the horizontal accuracy of the CATSOC value. If we come to CATSOC Charlie, then we're talking about a horizontal accuracy of 500 meters. So just presume, if this area would be a CATSOC Charlie area, then both lines, port and starboard side, would be shifted to 500 meters closer to your route. And I don't know how to do this manually. This would be a massive work, right? To shift then the line. The entire line cannot be shifted, but you need to shift the single points and connect those again. Our algorithm is doing this automatically. Takes the CATSOC value into consideration. Right. This was for the no-go, for the manual safety control line. Since it is not available always desired one in the ENCs, we go next and remain staying with the 4.2, the navigation procedures. And we are now with the question 4.2.4, where the master and navigation officers familiar with the company electronic chart management procedures, and we're on board ENCs and RNCs managed, corrected, and used appropriately. It refers then again to the OCIMF best management practice, the publication and recommendation use of actors and preventing incidents. And under the topic 424, TMP notices to mariners, ENC preliminary MTM and AIO, it says where conflicts of scale occur, UKHO products and the areas covered by TMP's AIO will display no overlay. Gather information from other sources. Among others, it says also TMP, EP and M should be plotted as manual layer as opposed to a generic text box and made alarmable to highlight any navigational hazard. Firstly, let us refer to alarmable. The wording from the OCIMF from this perspective is not perfectly right, to be honest. So for sacred orders, please note that alarmable or alarm is a very specific type of alert, which is only used in route monitoring for crossing the safety contour and leaving the XTD. The more correct word would be to use the word alert. So you're being alerted to highlight any navigational danger. If you're interested in that terminology, you may have a look into the IMO MSC 30287. Everything is in there. Right. This is number one item from this slide. Number two item is, let us go back to this one here, conflict of scale. If this occurs, the AIO will display no overlay. So you need to gather your information from other sources rather than from the AIO overlay. I went to the UKHO webpage and I looked after AIO information, and I found, and I trust we all know this list of TMP information in ENCs for countries more or less already. I checked for that, and for my example, I went to the United States of America and I simply was looking in if T notices or P notices information are included in the ENCs already. I go here and I find no, it's not included. I go next, I find no, it is not included. So the T notice and P notices in the ENCs are not included. If I go further and looking after if those informations are being considered in AIO, I find a clear yes. Roger. So they are not included in the ENCs, but AIO is considering those. If you look now on the next slide, this is only one example out of dozens of examples. We find that more or less the entire US Gulf is covered with fields with the writing no overlay. So none of those areas where you find no overlay is being considered by AIO. And as we just learned, the slide before, also the TMP notices are not in the ENC already. So you need to gather information from other sources. As I said, this is only an example. Go to Black Sea, go to the Danish Straits, go to the Med. You will always find those no overlays all around. Just do it when you're next time on board ship. Just check, go on the actors, switch on the layer AIO, and look after the main trading pattern of your vessel to see to what extent no overlay is considered on the ENCs. For that one, we have a ChartWorld's solution again, which is the CIO plus TMP layer. This shows temporary and preliminary notices to mariners published by the UKHO and the China Navy Hydrographic Office. Also the Indian Navy Hydrographic Office and the Columbia. Is again as a user chart, and again it's been attributed with danger. See this here, and we see in the rule check also here the notification that has been seen as danger. It's not only enhancing the safety of navigation, this TMP layer, it also reduces significantly the workload for the navigator in terms of applying TMP notices on an ENC. And this not only by applying the TMP notice on the ENC, since we have seen this already on the other slide, that the written text box is not good enough anymore. It must be a symbol, it must be made alertable. But also the check against no overlay AIO thing makes that job difficult and easy that a human error may occur. This layer also helps to defend potential charterers' claims if your vessel run into trouble, like a grounding, and maybe the corresponding POT notice was not displayed on the E&C, because this may then potentially mean that the passage plan could be declared defective, and as such, the vessel would render to become unseaworthy, to be declared unseaworthy. There is a famous example, which is the CIO Libra case. I trust mostly all of you have heard about this already, but to bring everybody on the same page, just let me very briefly explain what the story is about. The CIO Libra was outbound CMM, China. And the P notice was enforced saying that outside of the fairway, the depths are unreliable, shoals might be uncharted, X minefields are there, and so on and so forth, this kind of stuff. The pilot was dropped halfway out, and well, the captain immediately left the fairway and ran aground. The written passage plan did not give any reference to the P notice, and the chart had only one remark on its margin with a P notice number, but nothing else. And by the way, those days the vessel had paper charts as primary mean of navigation, but we come to that in a minute. So what did the owners do? They declared a general average, but some of the cargo interests declined to participate in the general average because they claimed that the ship was unseaworthy due to a defect passage plan. So the case went to court, and it went totally through 3 court instances, and at any of those courts, and also the final was the Supreme Court, they agreed with the point of the charterers that the vessel passage plan was defective, hence it took not any reference to the P notice, and as such, the vessel was unseaworthy. So the cargo interests were in the position to escape from the general average, and about $1 million were, not paid by them. We were looking quite deep into this case, since we're asking ourselves, can this happen again with an actors nowadays? And well, to be honest, I would say I'm not saying the likeliness is higher than it was with paper chart, but it's for sure not lower. Why? Because applying POT notices on an actors in an E&C is not as comfortable as it was with the paper charts, right? It was easier with the paper charts. What we did was, my colleague Stefan Dimke, being our sales director, he simply made a test himself. He was sitting in front of the actors and he was looking after this P notice in question, and he was checking how long it would take him to enter this P notice into the E&C. And this P notice, it was 4 pages long, 4 A4 pages. And we know that the font size on this corrections is not very big, right? So it was a massive work. It took him nearly an hour to enter all those data. And well, even when he finished with that, he was saying, I'm pretty sure I made some mistakes. I just wanted to be very fast. So, but still then it took him an hour only for one message, for one notice, which is pretty much. Now the question is, why was on the CIO Libra this P notice not there? The answer is very easy. We don't know. It could be that the officer didn't have time to apply this notice. Maybe he forgot. Maybe intentionally did not. We don't know. At least what we know is it was not there. And in order to safeguard our customers against such a case, not only enhancing safe navigation by applying CIO plus TNP, but also against such cases, we offer this service. Right. This was about the TNP notices, and we go next. Together with the PNP notices, the left area CIO plus chart layer comes, and we come to that now. We are now with the 4.1 navigational equipment, and under 4.1.10, the question is whether master navigational officer is familiar with the company procedures for managing marine safety information broadcast by enough text and safety net and the warnings affected the vessels will be plotted on the voyage charts. The expected evidence, as per the question library, is paper and electronic charts showing charted marine safety information warnings. And again, we got here the CIO plus nav area chart layer. The data is obtained from coastal and local navigational warnings and the nav text. Then it adds these elements to navigational warnings obtained from nav area coordinators. And so, well, that's a quite powerful combination of the input sources. The following data sources have been incorporated into CIO Plus. We are getting warnings and notices issued by 21 nav area coordinators and coastal and local warnings issued by 125 coastal administrations. Recently, we have even added more CIO Plus, even more navigational warning data to our CIO Plus nav area database, such as the Greek warnings, such as Turkish warnings, Middle East navigation aid services, Northern Sea Route, West and East, Chinese warnings from totally 33 coastal administration of the China MSA. Again, as already said on the other slides, it is made alertable, it is attributed with danger, means the route check will find any of those warnings. Right, so far so good. This was about our CIO Plus family and how we support the SIRE 2.0 compliances. And if we come to the question and answer section, my colleague was already so kind and was collecting the most frequently asked questions. And one of those are any of the CIO Plus layers available for any actors, means a non-ChartWorld actors. Well, P&T notices and the nav area warnings are available more or less for any actors. Other, like our data service Stay Away, is a little bit more limited, and we have presently only a few actors models that can work with that data, but we are of course of upgrading those for more active systems. The easiest would be if you drop me an email and ask for a particular active system, and then I will reply instantly. Else, please check our webpage. There is a webpage available, CIO Plus, ChartWorld, and you find a matrix to see which actors maker is ready to work with which CIO Plus layer. And then there was the question, can we trial CIO Plus? Yeah, sure, anytime. We are happy to offer trials for any of those CIO Plus products you would be interested in. Just drop us an email and we will do that. So the time is gone. We are nearly done, 29. So other questions which we still have here in the line, we will then reply directly to the participants. Last but not least, don't miss our webinar part 3. That's the overview of our nav cloud concept. In particular here, I will demonstrate Myra and my fleet and present how it will help to be in compliance with the SIRE 2.0. It will be again on Wednesday, 15th of June, 2022, again at 10 hours Central European Summertime. You see my email address down here. Please feel free to contact me for any queries you may have. Well, many thanks for your attendance, and I hope that you find the content of the webinar interesting. Looking forward to welcome you in 2 weeks' time again to the last session of the series of 3 webinars. Stay safe and healthy, and have a good day. Goodbye.